Oracle Cloud Procurement. Hi, my name's Scott Walls, and in this video, you will learn how to create a bidder, or what Oracle calls a prospective supplier, in Oracle Cloud. So let's get started. Here we are logged in as Calvin Roth. Calvin Roth is a supplier manager. So Calvin's going to go to the procurement functional area. He's going to select the supplier's application. When that application loads, he's going to do the same thing he'd do for adding any supplier. He's going to go to the task panel, and he's going to click the Create Supplier option. So now, if you've seen the Spend Authorized creation, which you can see on our free course on Panameer.com, you'll know it had 4 parts. This is just a little bit easier. This is going to have 3 parts. So let's get started. We'll show you the basic difference here in a second. Now, the first part is adding the profile information. And what's really nice is that I can really add most of the profile information by just entering the information in this page, right? So I'm going to select here prospective supplier. That's essentially like saying bidder. And the difference is that the prospective supplier doesn't have spend risk, so you can't create transactions. Essentially, what you can do for this supplier is you can add they can participate in bidding or sourcing events, or what they call negotiations, and they can also, not a lot of people understand this, they can also create contracts with them. So if you want to do a non-disclosure agreement or a pre-purchase agreement, you could do that with your bidder, which is really cool. All right, back to here, back to the page, tax org type, I'm going to select corporation. Now, what I need to do is I need to tell it some tax information. So I'm going to say that the tax country is the US. That's going to tell Oracle it should expect 8 digits in the taxpayer ID, the tax reg number, whatever these fields it wants to use. So let's do 9 digits inside here, and we'll click Create. Like I said earlier, this information will now go to profile. If I took a step back, I'd see, okay, that information is here. Now, there are more fields that you can add, for example, product and services, but this is just to give you a basic prospective supplier you can use in Procurement Cloud contracts and bidding. So let's go to part 2 and let's add an address, right? So now we'll click the plus icon and we're going to use the search bar. This is a data service from something called DataFox. And what it allows me to do is put in, let's say, 3 different fields, and now this is going to tell me addresses for those, just a search an address. And I'm guessing it searches USPS or something similar. If you don't have that search bar, that's okay. Just enter these manually. I just did it because it's nice and it saves me some time. Let's say I'm going to call this Maine. This is the main location for this training supplier. Then I need to tell Oracle, what do I want to do with this address? Well, this is our ordering, remitting, RFQ, or bidding address, right? And so that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go and click Save and Close. While this is saving and closing, what's important to understand here is that I didn't just put an email address in. And so what you really want to do is whether you're going to now use this bidder to qualify, which you can do, or to use this bidder in a negotiation, somehow Oracle has to understand how does it communicate with the supplier. And so we haven't given it a generic email at the address we just entered. We're going to do that through using a qualification, from using a contact. But we can't go straight to the contact. We're going to have to submit this data we've put in here so far for approval before we can continue. So with that, I'm going to save the information we've added thus far, and I'm going to submit that for approval. So it tells me here, changes submitted. I'm going to go to my task panel. This time, I'm going to go into Manage Suppliers. Let's ignore that. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to see if I can find that supplier. And I tried to do that quickly because it's worth noting that what I really did when I submitted it for approval, it's really submitted for auto approval. But in your environment, you may actually have a supplier approval which takes some period of time. So you'll notice that this blue circle with the I in the middle is telling us that something has added and has a change request for this profile that hasn't been approved yet, right? So it's pending. Now, because I said we're in auto approval here, I'm guessing if I search, yeah, that went away. So good. Now our supplier or prospective supplier, aka bidder, is now ready to add more information. So here I can run the edit, and this will open up this plus icon so that I can add this contact. Remember, the contact's important because we want to understand who we're communicating with. So let's say this is Mikey Mills. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say Mike Mills, job title. That's the administrative contact. And I'm going to do M Mills at Panameer.com. All right, now what I want to do next is I want to link Mike and this email address to an address so that we understand when we're going to publish the negotiation, who it goes and how it goes. So now I've just linked those two. And then since I'm now, excuse me, going to send notifications to Mike, I probably want to give Mike the ability to come back through the supplier portal and, for example, bid or accept a negotiation, meaning, okay, got it, I can accept it, I'll preview it. Now I like it, I'll bid when it opens, right? And so to do that by giving Mike a user account. This is nice. This is definitely something that is much easier in cloud than it was in the prior on-premise days. So as I scroll down, you'll see when I click that checkbox, I got 3 new options. You may get 3, 2, 5. These are the different roles that Mike will have access to. So if I want Mike to have access to bid, but not to do enter POs and invoices, this is where I control that. This link back here is really if I wanted to say Mike is part of a larger conglomerate and has access to control bidding, let's say on multiple suppliers. So that's what I would use that for. That's not applicable here. Now I want to go back, save and close. This takes me back up to that level. I've completed all 3 parts and I want to accept those changes, and then I want to submit this supplier for approval, and when it's approved, it's good to go. It's ready to use in a negotiation. So that's how you add a prospective supplier bidder in Oracle Cloud. Have questions? Great. Reach out to me directly using the link below. Want to learn how to create all the basic purchasing transactions in Oracle Cloud? Check out my free basic procurement course on Panameer.com. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.